Oi, oi. Content by the bollocks at the moment, right? I know you guys are getting spammed left, right, and centre. Really appreciate the uptake from the videos I did with Darren and Jamie. They always seem to go down well, and this year is no exception. GG column's been going this year. I've been putting a few bets up on there as well. I've just stuck up another column for novice chasers, which is basically the reason why I'm doing this video too. I did an A to Z of novice hurdlers last week, and I've done an A to Z of novice chasers this week. I'll consolidate all of this when it comes towards Cheltenham as well. I'll do it like a little Bible. Seasoned hurdlers and seasoned chasers will be coming up next. This will bring us up to the festival trials day. Then we've got Dublin Race Festival. Loads of clues will be coming up about then. Just think it's a real good time to take stock of horses. At the beginning of the season, we might have had an idea of where we thought they might be. So you can go and read those articles. I will put a link in the description for both the novice hurdlers and the novice chasers. I don't know what they are, like maybe 5-10 minute reads tops. So again, it's my opinion and my opinion only. It's good to bounce ideas off of people, and I know obviously we can't all do that. So I am very much just talking to you about the ones that I like at the moment, or not necessarily just the ones that I like. I do in the videos, I do mostly talk about the ones that I like. This will give you a view of the ones that maybe I haven't been mentioning so much as well. I'm going to try and quickly run through the A to Z, the hurdlers chases, just back and forth as quickly as I can on it. I won't go through it word for word. Like I say, go read the articles, but just to touch on a few horses as like a point blank statement. And then if you want me to follow up, you can drop comments below. I'll try and answer those. But you can go and look at the articles to see my rebuttal if there's got reason and stuff behind some of the blanket statements I might make about some of these horses. So yeah, we'll crack on with it. There's going to be another anti-post insight video coming out at the end of this week. Feel like I haven't done one of them for a little while. There will be some more suggested bets within there. There's a lucky 15 I've put up on this one for the novice chasers, which you'll see when you're on the article. I can tell you towards the end of it as well, or at some point. But I'll do something again, the anti-post picks. There's been lots of people putting their stuff out. We've seen Let's Talk Race. I've had a couple of weeks off. I know they've been sorting stuff out with Andrew Blair White coming over to this side of the sea. They're putting up an anti-post picks video on Thursday. So I'm hoping to record pretty much after there. So I've got a view of that. And we've had some up in the antis in there. The Cheltenham Exchange boys have just done one. And Ginger Joe just did one, didn't he, with a bundle of people. There's plenty more than that as well. I think Only Fools Love Horses have done some as well. So I'm going to try and catch up with as many of those videos as I can. I've already watched quite a few of them. And then talk about their selections, because I do think it's nice to have a bit of back and forth to opinionate and see where we're going with stuff, because it's very easy to sit there and be nice to everyone and say that it's all good. That's not to say that I'm here just to have a go at people, but I just want to put my back and forth if we need to. So let's go through the A to Z as quick as I can. I'm going to keep this video under 10 minutes, so we'll see how far we can get through. Novice hurdlers, so we'll kick off there because it starts. American Mike's on the top of the list there. The long and the short of this horse is I don't think he is a grade 1 horse. He hasn't shown enough this season. There was excuses when he was running in bumpers. There's been excuses with him over hurdles. He may just be one of those horses that will never show his full potential on the race course. Trip-wise, I think he could be middleish trip. The Michael Purcell hurdle at Thurles is one that Gordon's used in the past for. Martin Pipe talked about the Goffer that one last year, so that's my sort of theory where he could end up being. Next in the alphabetical order would be Appreciate It. I know he's a 9-year-old, but I think that's been used too much as the emphasis and detracting away from the fact of what he's actually achieved. He bolted up in that Supreme, didn't he? He was good as a hurdler, as a bumper horse as well, when he was second, and he was sent off favourite for that bumper as well. So like, he's rock solid from start to finish. We saw what Willie Mullins was able to do with Forheen as an older novice chaser. He almost went and won the JLT Turners then. I think Appreciate It is a proper 2-miler. I don't get all this talk that people talk about with him needing to step up in trip. Yes, we may have all thought that when he was starting over hurdles, for example, but he's plenty of 2-mile speed. He's only ever run over further than 2 miles once, and that was in a bumper. I don't see all of this stuff. I do not see why people think he's going to Turners. If you look at the actual 2-mile form of all of these horses that Willie Mullins has got lined up for it, he is an actual Supreme winner, and he's travelled so well in that Champion Hurdle. If you haven't reminded yourself, go back and watch that Champion Hurdle and then try and tell me this horse doesn't just want 2 miles. So I'll leave it as that. As I say, the whole columns are in there. Arctic Brazil was the next for the hurdlers. I didn't think he was that good, and I didn't think he was very good in the Tolworth, but I said that beforehand, so you maybe should have read it or couldn't read it. Ashbro Diamond's in there. She did win the Aintree, didn't she? She does look like she stays a little bit further than the minimum trip. She does stay probably like middle tripish might be best for her. It will be sort of mare's novice hurdle. It'll be an easier division, but I don't know. I don't think she's going to be winning there. It may be that she picks up a race somewhere else, but like a nice enough type. I'm trying to get these alphabetical as best I can. Ballygriffin Cottage. He wants some soft ground, and he hasn't had that very many runs under rules. I think it's hard to make a winning case for him in grade ones, but he looks like he's a nice enough horse anyway. Banbridge, Martin Pike winner for 137. I don't think he's that much better now. I don't think he is a grade one horse. He's one of those horses, though, if the ground does come up quick at the festival, that form at the beginning of the season will look a lot better. Between Waters was a very easy winner of her point. We haven't seen her out. She's had loads of entries in the middle-ish trip. She could be top grade, but I'd like to see her run in a better class to see if she possesses that speed. Talk about this for like an hour at Barnet. I'd like to see her have a bit of pace. We don't know if she's got it or not, and he keeps running her in or entering her in mid-distance ones. Blood Destiny, we saw the Bo Zenith line. I mean, people are going to use that to now poo-poo Blood Destiny, and before they were using Blood Destiny's form to boost Bo Zeniths. Not how it works. You can't literally bump into them. One's gone to Willie, one's gone to Gary Moore for a reason. So Blood Destiny, I just think he needs to progress. It's not a question of whether he can or he can't. He definitely can, but he will need to as well. Champ Kylie was a pretty good winner, wasn't he, of that Laura Renace, to be fair. I mean, they missed a couple of hurdles. I don't think he is proper grade one animal, but he does look a nice horse. It's the pace of everything, isn't it? I don't know where he needs to end up, to be honest with you. I would imagine that, I don't know why you wouldn't run him in a Ballymore, really. He could stay in Albert Bartlett trip. He could go anywhere, but those horses that couldn't necessarily go anywhere and haven't or have been beaten within a season do put me off a little bit. Chemical Energy, Gordon's got some of the 66 for the National Hunt Chase, needs to be going there. I think he's a big price, so with some of the Brown Advisory looking weak, you're more likely to see other horses reverting from the National Hunt Chase to there than he ever would. So he's a steady one. Again, the ground would be key to him, wouldn't it? Comfort Zone won the Finale Juvenile. I don't see how he reverses the form. We lost him out there at the Braves, so I think that's enough to move on from him. Classic Getaway. Haven't seen him since November. Would be interested if he ran in something like the 10-up, I would imagine, because he could be the sort of another National Hunt Chase type-ish horse. And obviously with the Brown Advisory going as it is, who knows where Gaillard de Mesnil will go, but I do think he will end up being the National Hunt Chase. But Classic Getaway did bleed in the Albert Bartlett last year. Again, it's all in there, and I'm trying to go quick, but some sort of content in there. Dawn Rising, I won't keep talking about this horse. I think he's going to go well in the Albert Bartlett. I was pretty happy with what he did in the Lord of an Ace. Deeply Superficial, nice point winner. Would have had an easier time back against the girls. Could avoid a penalty in the Mares Novice Hurdle. I think that's why they ran her against the boys. I just don't think she's that fast, so I think there's something faster than her that will win the Mares Novice. Dysart Dynamo is clearly a serious animal. I liked him as a hurdler, but he flopped in that Supreme, didn't he? And he flopped at Punchestown as well. Bit of a worry about him for that reason. I don't think he stays more than 2 miles. Like, he might, but everyone was talking about it last year, potentially Supreme or Ballymore, and I always said he was a 2-miler. I think that's where he should go, so we'll have to just see how that fans out. El Fabiolo, another one of the Willie Mullins, narrowly denied by John Bon. He, again, probably does look like a 2-miler, so it's hard. I know he's going to have to try and split horses up, but we'll just find out more at the Dublin Racing Festival. I thought he won quite well at Punchestown, beating Hardor, and I think Hardor is an underrated horse, as we'll find out again as I talk about him a little bit later on. Facile Vega, I don't know why people are trying to knock the bumper form. Facile Vega just wins, proper animal, real good horse, so I don't really need to talk too much about that. Favori Deschamps, though, again, won't talk about him too much. He's one that I think could be a handicap-ish horse, so we'll see where he goes. Fildor won't be getting his 5-year-old allowance or 4-year-old allowance anymore. Fairy House Arranger, I think, would be better options for that horse, so just leave him alone for this. Gaelic Warrior, we're seeing about this mark 134. I mean, potentially that could be the Irish UK-ish mark. I know he's in the bet for hurdles. We'll see what's done on there. The fact is, he was 129 in that race, wasn't he, the Boodles? He has gone up a little bit in the weights. I think he's probably like a low 140s horse or mid 140s horse, so he should be winning a handicap if he is beneath that, but I don't see him winning a Ballymore at Cheltenham. It's bonkers people talk about that. Gaillard de Mesnil touched on him a little bit. I think he's good, and I just think he'll win the National Hunt Chase. They could obviously move him about, but I don't think they would. You're only thinking that because the race looks fuzzy. Gaillard de Mesnil wins the National Hunt Chase. Just fill your boots in. Jelena Bella's an interesting one for Nichols. I don't know if there was any comments after that Cowhitch Star Novices Chase, but I do think this horse should run in the Brown Advisory. I know he got a Stairs hurdle entry as well. Maybe that's speculative. I think they're going to probably give him another go over fences, or at least I would see how he goes, because he did jump right in those first couple of starts anyway, so he'd need to jump better than that to win a Brown Advisory, wouldn't he? But I think the intent's there, isn't it, that they want to run at the festival if they've entered him in the Stayers. So Jelena Bello, I think if he jumping did hold up, I think he's probably got a bit of a chance. He's like top price 50 to 1 for that race as well, so I think maybe people have been a little bit harsh on him. Gentleman's Game, good enough horse, I think. I would think he would be Brown Advisory National Hunt Chase, but he's very similar to Jerry Colomb. I think Gentleman's Game is less maybe sort of ground dependent as you would think of Jerry Colomb. We don't think Jerry Clon might be, but he sort of could be. But Gentleman's Game has one on good ground and then soft heavy as well. So I quite like him. And I just touched on Jerry Clon there. We don't really know where he's going to go, but he'd think it would probably be the Brown Advisory if they run him at Cheltenham. I don't even know if he would definitely go to Cheltenham personally. Grange Clare West, talked about that before the race. Just thought he was like massively too short on what he'd actually achieved and blew out a little bit. I know he had a cough, so we'll see how that pans out after, but we'll see where we are. Hador, touched on him a tiny little bit earlier. He had a juvenile season, didn't he? Then he had another season over hurdles. Then he had another season over hurdles last year. I think he did that order anyway. Yeah, second season novice he was last year, sorry. A bit better than that. I think his novice chase win was pretty good. I beat the Goffer in that. It was a rated novices chase, so I mean, I'm not being biased with the Goffer, but he won really, really nicely in there. He's top price 20 for the Turners and 21 for the Brown Advisory, so he's not completely going under the radar when he's those sorts of prices. I think he could be someone that people aren't really thinking about too much, and maybe we need to do that. So we'll see what he does next time out. Hermes Allen, I think, wins the Ballymore. Go read out why in the column. There's no way I'm keeping this under 10 minutes, but I'll try. Hidden Valley Lake, there's a race, isn't there? I want to say Clonmel, I don't think it is. The one Manila Indo and Allaho ran against each other. That's the sort of race I think he might go into there. There was another one he ran in there last year, didn't he? Chantrose. But maybe that's the type of race that he might go into there. I think we'll find out more about him next time out. I know people do like him already, but I need to see more. High Definition, the ex-flat horse. Again, I put some comments in there. Big negative when he jumped a bit right. HIJ, yep. So Hilete Tomps. Reasonable juvenile, but I don't like the fact that he was sold to a syndicate. That put me right off. I don't think he's one for me. They'll work out a race to go and win with him, won't they? But I don't think they'll be able to do it for the Cheltenham Festival. In the pocket, I can't remember. I just don't think he's up to a grade 1 standard. You can go again, check out the column to see more about there. Irish Point, this is obviously, I say obviously, but this was before the Lord of Renee's. I thought he was fairly good, to be honest with you, and I think he'd be better on spring round as well. So again, I don't know if he'll be a Cheltenham Festival winner. He might end up being like an Abacadabras or I don't know, maybe just one of those Gordon Elliott horses that runs really well into a place and then looks like a horse for next season. I don't know if he'll be an actual Cheltenham Festival winner in waiting, but you never know. Like, there's the entries out there as well. But I do quite like Irish Point. I think there's more to come from him. James de Burley, Daryl Jacob mentioned, didn't he, that he's probably going to go to the Turners. I think personally that the Munir and Swedes outfit don't want to run novices in further trips. Terrafit's one that springs to mind. I put a little bit in there, a bit more about him. He is 9-1 top private bet 365. You know I fancy Mighty Potter in that race. I do think that's too big a price considering I'd be 99% sure this is where he turns up. I've said that now. Watch him go run somewhere else. John Bon, Arkle favourite. I still don't think he's got that turn of foot. I think something could do him for like tapping for a little toe. He can reach as high a gear as any other horse. I just think it takes him a little bit longer, stride or two longer. So I just don't think he's unbeatable, but oh well, there we are. Jupiter de Geet was a Gary Moore one. There's a loose line through Klitschko when Jaramello is now rated 112 and beating 53 lengths of handicap David off the back of that mark. So I don't think he beat anything in there. And I think his quotes for Cheltenham with 14-1 were disgustingly short. So bollocks to him. Liberty Dance, really liked her in bumpers. I backed her, didn't she, when there was like a close finish between a few horses. I thought she was going to get up. She didn't at a big price. I do think she's limited in terms of her ability, though. I think she's just a good horse, but not a great one. Lossy Mouth, big talking horse. Nothing has run better than she has this season. I just wonder if something could go and be better than her. But as it stands, she is where she is. And she was reasonable prices, wasn't she? Lucia got that dirty scope before the Tolworth. Hopefully that's all sound. I think she does win the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. And to think that Tolworth, as much as it was poor form when we look at it in terms of who won maybe, and he got knocked, didn't it? Imagine Lucia had run. I think she would have bolted up. And I know it's risky doing that, but I think she did. Marine Nationale goes straight to the Supreme. We're not going to find out enough about him. Potentially does look quite good, but I don't think, again, price-wise, there's any real juice in him. I think a few people would have had him covered up with Facile Vegas. He sat in a nice position. Supreme is definitely a market, isn't it, now, where you can just wait and bet nearer the time because there'll be so many concessions. Mighty Potter, I've talked about him numerous times. He will win the Turners, simple as that. Banana Crooner, a horse I've talked about a few times as well. I really like him. He's got an entry at Warwick this weekend over 3 miles. I want him to come there because I think that's his trip and that's probably his standard. I don't think he's grade 1. He's got an entry in Ireland, 2 mile, 3.5, but I think the place to go is Warwick. So if he comes over, don't know if he will, but if he does come over, I'll be tempted to have a few quid on him. I think he's a bit of a screwball, though. I don't think he puts 100% in. So that's something to bear in mind if you're going to get a few quid on. Ramillies, lots of people are talking about him now, aren't they? Same connections as Galadonez Neil. Ramillies could go anyway, couldn't he? I always quote this horse, Black Hercules. Ramillies could end up in the Turners. He could end up in the National Hunt Chase. I'll probably just keep an idea of what he does next time, but I don't know. I don't know where he would win at the festival. I think he could run in lots of races and he could be of interest, but I'm trying to think of him winning at the festival. And as it stands at the moment, I can't see him doing that. Samoa, county winner 2020, wouldn't he? Potential supreme contender before that. And then it was obviously, you look back now and think, Jesus, he was an absolute penalty kick. JP will run him in the Turners as far as I'm concerned. I don't think he's up to it, but I don't think he'll go off at the 16-1. But yeah, that's it. I think Samoa's nice. Don't think he'll win it. Scriptwriter, 2 from 2 over hurdles and then won that all-weather race the other day, didn't he? Connections said quite a lot that Night Salute was a very good horse, but they think Scriptwriter's better. He does need to improve. I think he probably is a little bit inexperienced as well, but the spring will bring more out of him. He'll probably end up being an Aintree horse, wouldn't he? But he's okay, I guess. Time Hill, I think he's going to go straight to Cheltenham. Darryl messaged Philip Hobbs and then spoke to him. I don't know if that obviously had an influence on what they were doing, but I don't think they would have gone to the Venom anyway, but we don't know. I just don't think he'll go off an 8-1 chance, which is what he is at the moment. I wouldn't want to back him at any shorter. So I touched on the fact that I did a bet. In a lucky 15 was Time Hill. So I covered the 4 races. Arco, I said appreciate it. National Hunt Chase, I said Chemical Energy. RSA, Brown Advisory, I said Time Hill, and then for the Turners, Mighty Pot. So that would be the 4 of them. I don't know. He could win, couldn't he? And then Zarat the Brave was Paul's choice, wasn't he, in that night, Frank, when he went off favourite and Lossy Mouth won. Interesting that they didn't expect what he did on debut, and then he followed it up after. So maybe he's not quite so straightforward. Not completely ruled out for reversing the form with Lossy Mouth, but we'll have to see that. The price does account for the fact of that, though. She's 13-8 and he's 14-1. So they are where they are. As I say, there'll be links to the articles in there. There will be a video coming out at the end of the week, basically not picking holes, but having a look at other people's anti-post bets to give you my opinion on them. And hopefully I'll pick out a couple more for us. So thanks again for the support. Please do like the video. Please do subscribe to the channel and comment if you've got anything worth saying. Peace.